Hello, this is Richard Kuhns of the Stress Management Institute giving you a hearty welcome to your inner tranquility. This program was originally recorded on cassette, which is why you will hear reference to Side 1 and Side 2. Side 1 is contained on tracks 1 through 4, with Side 2 contained on track 5. The author of track 5 is unknown. My first instructor in hypnosis played it in one of our classes. It affected me profoundly in supporting my changing of careers, and I only wish for its effect upon you to be similar. As the audio of the original cassette was in poor condition, I transcribed it and recorded it in my voice to preserve its uniqueness. Being that it was a motivating force in my life, I named it Activating Self-Motivation, although it could just as easily be called Inner Tranquility, or The Wonders of You, or Your Greatness, or The Magic Within. And now we pick up with the program.
There is symmetry in a centered self. Unbalanced energies in these areas lead to misdirection and duplicated efforts. So with this in mind, welcome to the world of self-motivation. Welcome to the world of direction, purpose, and aim. Discover your natural ability to see what's wanted and needed in life, and these discoveries will then unleash your innermost potential. On this side is the introduction. The recording is very effective for those making decisions about or choosing careers, or those indecisive about which career to go into, or those in the process of changing careers, perhaps midlife changes, or those who are in a career in which they feel comfortable and enjoy, and they just want to develop their innermost potential. Those in retirement to gain new direction and purpose, or anyone before a situation during which they'd normally be anxious or tense, such as before tests or examinations, job interviews, surgery, meeting someone new or a new situation, a driving test. This recording was one of our first recordings, and to date remains unchanged except for a change in title and this introduction. Initially it was known as The Inner World of Tranquility, produced by the Academy for Self-Betterment. And when you flip the recording over, you'll find it's still introduced the same way. Now, how you use the recording may vary. If you're in a process of choosing a career or finding direction in life, changing careers, or wanting to improve your performance of whatever career, or going through retirement, I suggest you use the recording once each night before you fall asleep, playing it as a sleep tape. Turn the recorder on just as you go to bed. Fall asleep with it. Your subconscious mind will record and receive the suggestions, and your image will begin taking place, developing in your subconscious mind. Additionally, 2 times each week, play the recording while sitting down, sitting relatively erect in a chair, both feet flat on the floor, hands flat on your thighs, palms down. Do not cross your legs, fold your arms. Remove any gum or lozenges. You might want to take your glasses off and feel more comfortable. Be comfortable, loosen any tight belts or buttons, and listen to the recording 2 times during the week without falling asleep. If you find that you do have a tendency to fall asleep, use an armchair. Prop your elbow on the arm and have your forearm extend vertically up from the arm of the chair. If you start falling asleep, your arm will slowly start falling over, bringing you back to semi-consciousness, where you may continue using the recording without falling asleep. This is so that your conscious mind will derive benefit from the suggestions that your subconscious mind has been receiving during the week. You might want to disconnect the telephone or go into a room quietly by yourself. It's not absolutely necessary. In the event of an emergency or an interruption with a telephone ringing, you will bring yourself to full consciousness and attend to any emergency or any situation you need to at full awakeness. All of your impulses will respond to their normal control, and when such situation is over, you can simply come back, sit down, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and turn the recorder on again and continue as before, or you may start from the beginning, whatever you wish. It's not recommended that you listen to the recording while driving in an automobile or any moving vehicle, as it may bring on sleep. Now let's take a look at some attitudes. We're very often programmed by society and our culture. In this country and many civilized countries, it seems that our lives have been put on a schedule. The ultimate purpose of the schedule is to acquire, accumulate materialistic wealth, and ultimately retire to a life of fishing and traveling and crafts and enjoyment. It's like the first 3 years on the schedule are devoted to learning how to walk and talk. Then along comes pre-kindergarten or kindergarten, where you learn A, B, C, how to share. Then along comes elementary school, where comes reading, writing, arithmetic, and some beginning of appreciation of art. Then along comes high school or junior high school, in which we're getting into the sciences and how this earth works. And as we advance into high school, preparation for graduation from high school, in which it's decided that we either go to a college and choose some kind of course of study, or whether we'll be getting a job and going on our own. And so it's anticipated that by age 18 that one will be either actively entering into a college with some purpose of mind or some course of study, or getting a job and beginning to accumulate wealth and paying bills and going on their own and getting married and having children and propagating the human race so it can start all over again. At the end of college, whether it be 4 years or 6-year course of study, or whether on to med school, an internship or whatever, then at that point you begin your own profession, get married if you haven't already done so, start accumulating materialistic wealth. Whichever way you're going, whether you're already working at this point or whether you're starting into a career, you also want to gain some sense of job satisfaction or career satisfaction, and deserve taking that once a year or twice a year vacation that you've earned. All the while keeping up with the Joneses, providing for the family, or taking care of the family. And you do this for 20, 25, maybe 30 years, all because there's a time when you'll be allowed to retire and live your own life and enjoy all the rewards, reap all of the harvest. So around age 55 to 60, somewhere in there, maybe a little bit earlier if you're a civil servant, you'll be in a position where you can retire. And then you close up your office, you pack away your tools, give away your commuting tickets, and get in your bank account, cash in some bonds maybe or whatever, buy yourself a boat, if you haven't already done so in the accumulation of wealth. Get yourself some tickets to travel around. Buy a cottage by a lake. Get yourself some fishing gear. And now enjoy all the rewards. Enjoy the harvest. Reap the benefits of all those years of toil. And that's our schedule. And you do that schedule until you're no longer in a position to reap those rewards, in which you're now becoming dependent on other people to take care of you. And eventually, well, we cash out of this life. That's our schedule. For those of you who are sensitive to those later years, I suggest that you also use the Happy Birthday tape, which is basically an age and attitude recording. Age is an attitude. Now let's take a look at the program we've gotten. What happens is that culture and society has programmed us. And if we're not in a position to go from A to B to C to D at any point, well, then we've learned to feel guilty. Must be something wrong with us. I mean, everybody else is progressing. Everybody else is starting kindergarten at 4 years of age. Why aren't we? Everybody else is starting junior high at 6th grade or 7th grade. Why aren't we? Everybody else is choosing a career when they got out of high school. Why aren't we? Or course of study. Why aren't we? It's not accepted to be just wandering around for any time or being indecisive. That's just not acceptable. I mean, it's not with any purpose in mind. I mean, you've got to be working towards something, working towards some goal. Otherwise, you should feel guilty for wasting your life. So that's the attitude. That's the program we've gotten. And if you accept that, that's exactly what it is. And at any time you feel or notice that you're not actively working towards something in life that you can see or that is tangible or that you know is there, well, then you feel misdirected and lost, and that produces a lot of unbalanced energies. Psycho-cybernetics comes into play here. We are as we see ourselves. Dr. Maltz popularized a term with his pocketbooks on cybernetics, and I suggest them as reading material in addition to this recording. In essence, what he's saying is that you are as you see yourself. If you envision yourself, say prior to a job interview, if you envision yourself as being clumsy, saying dumb things, making mistakes, poor memory, unsure of yourself, well, you know what? You won't get the job. Whereas on the other hand, if you envision yourself as being confident, at ease, calm, collected, and change a little perspective. When you're going for a job, if you look at it as though they're going to be evaluating you and judging whether or not you come up to their standards, well, then you're in a very performance-oriented situation. And you've put yourself there. Whereas on the other hand, if you look at it this way, you're going to check this company out to see if they are worthy of having your talents. You want to make sure they're not some fly-by-night company. You have it in future that you want to invest. And if you envision it in that manner, well, you'll have an opportunity of gaining the job. If you're in competitive sports or games, and if you envision yourself as being clumsy and uncoordinated, slow thinking, you know what? You'll lose. Whereas on the other hand, if you envision yourself being calm, relaxed, at ease, all that you've learned in practice flowing easily and completely to mind, and you see yourself that way, you know what? You'll have an opportunity to win. The same applies. If there's a period of your life in which you're not just automatically transitioning, going, say, from high school right into college or right into a job, and there's a period of time in which you are non-productive, say, if you envision that as being a waste of your life, just wandering aimlessly about, misdirected, lost, without direction. Whereas on the other hand, if you just recognize that at this particular time in life, you are lacking specific direction. Be open to the fact that what you're doing is you're looking around for what's wanted and needed. You don't have to jump onto anything just because it'll provide you a direction. And be selective about it. But also don't look at it as being either right or wrong for you, because we get programmed into what's right and what's wrong. Which is a better job for us, or which is a better course of study for us, or which is the right college for us, or which is not the right college for us. Where's the right place to live? And when we get so caught up in making sure we make the right decisions, we get so future-minded and way things will be or whatever, we end up making no decisions at all because we're living in what we think will be right or wrong and not living in the present. On the other hand, as opposed to regarding it as being a lost part of your life, if for some reason you are going through a period of time, whether it be months or years, in which doesn't seem to be any clarity of direction, look at it as an adventure each day. Because any experience, whatever it might be, you can acquire and extract something from it. For instance, even looking at the people you meet each day and how to relate with them and learning what you can about them can provide a tremendous insight later on to opening up a business or going into or developing a new product. Communicating with people and how to get along with them can provide you insight one day and how to have people working for you and how to motivate people and learning about them. So if you look at each day as what you can extract from it or what you can learn from it, then that's fantastic. But if on the other hand, you envision each day as being misdirected and lost, just because a friend of yours may have already made their decision and you know they're working and they're making their $100 a day or whatever it is, and you've had a day go by and you didn't make a cent. And if you put yourself on that comparison trick, then all you'll do is think of yourself being minus $100, and this goes on day after day after day, and you become nothing more than the lost money or the lost materialistic wealth. It is not important and essential for us to know exactly every minute of the day, every day of our life, what we want or what direction we have to go. Can you let it be if for some reason you do not know exactly what you want to get into? Be adventurous if you like. Begin a little bit of different things. Sometimes a little shotgun approach can be helpful, whereas anything in excess can be also detrimental. So use your discretion as well. Very often what happens is that while we're forced into making decisions because keeping on this human schedule we're putting on in a very young age, perhaps we might choose to go into a profession that, well, we really don't know too much about. Really don't know if we're really that interested. And we get into it and only to find out several years later, perhaps 15 or 20, that we don't like it. We didn't like it in the first place. There isn't really that much we like about it, but we stayed in it all those years because of other people's expectations of us or commitments that we made monetarily or whatever. How would you feel about sitting down with someone, say 17 years of age, a very intelligent young person, and having them, after they talk to you for a couple hours, make a decision that would determine where you would be 20 years from now? Would you do that? Sounds kind of strange, doesn't it? Why in the heck would you do that? Sounds ridiculous even, doesn't it? Well, you've done it. Each of you have already done it at some point in your life, perhaps at age 12 or 15. Some point in your life you've made a decision. Determine your relationship or what you might do or how you deal with situations like jobs, professions, and still to this day find yourself going to all extremes to prove yourself right for those decisions you've made a long, long time ago. What happens is that when you are influenced by the schedule placed on you with society and culture, if you're not progressing along, say from one phase to the next, and there's a hang-up, you feel guilty about that hang-up, and you also become very anxious about, well, it must be something wrong. I mean, after all, if you were normal like everybody else, you know who you want to get married to, or you know what you want to do in your life, you know what school you want to go to, and there's no reason for any delay. And so this causes a lot of anxiety, and what happens in the course of anxiety is that you're not thinking clearly. You're under stress, and you're at that situation more prone to make unwise or costly decisions. What to do about it? You do about it by tapping the power of your subconscious mind. It's estimated we only use between 6 and 10% of our brain power. The other 90% lies dormant. Unleashing those dormant talents you can do very effectively. And this is how you do it. You simply notice that a particular time in your life, if you should be going from phase A to phase B of the schedule, or phase D to phase E, or whatever, that you seem to be misdirected or lacking particular guidance. So you just note that and turn it over to your subconscious mind to provide you positive directions and extract from the experiences that you have every day something that will indicate to you what's needed and wanted in this world and in your life to provide you the motivation, self-induced motivation, that is, that you need. You see, on the other hand, if you feel guilty and you feel anxious, well, then you won't be thinking so clearly, and opportunity will be right there under your nose and you won't even see it. And that's what we often do, is we become worried, we become upset about choosing the right direction or whatever, and the opportunity's right there and we don't even recognize it. Is it true that opportunity only knocks once? No, not at all. Opportunity knocks many, many times, time and time again. With the recording, on the reverse side, you'll find yourself with an increased ability to tap every new opportunity, to recognize opportunity, and to improve your innermost potential as you tap the power of your subconscious mind to work for you. And this is how it is done. Whenever you recognize you have a problem, you simply state to yourself what the problem is. You do your homework. It may require you reading certain books, perhaps going to the library, talking it over with other people who have had experience or similar experiences, learning what their reactions might be or whatever. Not worrying over it, what might or might not happen, but this is doing your homework, just learning about the situation. And then as you sleep, perhaps even in your dreams, a creative solution may appear, or sometime throughout the day while you're busy with something else, just out of the middle of nowhere, an association or a recognition of a possible solution. And this is how solutions are obtained using the creative mechanism. For those of you who are in preparation of a specific situation, such as a job interview, competitive sports, games, tests, examinations, you may use this recording just prior to the experience, the situation. Use it a day before or several hours before. Experiment with it and see when it works best for you. For these specific situations, it won't be necessary to listen to recording every night before you fall asleep or routinely during the week. But you can just kind of use it as a booster for a certain situation or event. Others of you who are using it to aid in change or development, it's recommended that you use it for a minimum of 30 days, as described earlier as a sleep tape.